Okay, now we're going to look at functions part 2. So for functions part 2, some things we want to look at are discrete functions, continuous, vertical line test, nonlinear, and linear. So you can see these things, you can read them for yourself, and you can study what those are. Here are some examples. Here's a discrete function. Notice how the points are not connected. Here's a continuous function. It's connected completely. Vertical line test we'll get to in a little bit. Here's a linear function. Makes a straight line, or it would if I would have drawn it straight. Nonlinear, this one curves. So we're going to look at some examples of some things that are functions and some things that are not functions. So what I'm doing here is I'm looking at the graphs. The left side here is functions. The right side is not functions. So I'm going to show you the difference and so hopefully you will understand from that. Okay, so looking at functions. So this is our vertical line test. That's where that comes into play. And I'll make this so you can see it a little bit bigger. So the vertical line test says if a vertical line intersects a graph in more than one place, it's not a function. So if I take a vertical line, I move it, does it intersect the graph in more than one place? So as I'm moving it, you want to look at where it intersects the graph. In this case, it intersects here. I move it here, here. Only one place at a time. Well, here, on the things that are not functions, it intersects here, 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 multiple places at a time. So this is not a function. Here are some other examples. This is not a function because I look at the vertical line test as I'm moving the vertical line. Okay, it intersects here and here at the same time, not a function. Here and here, not a function. But over here, never more than once. Here, 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 here. So that's a function. This one is not. As I move the vertical line across, here it actually intersects it 3 times. So it's definitely not a function. But this one is. Never intersects more than one place. And again, when you're doing this, it doesn't have anything to do with the X and Y axis. You're only looking at your function. You're only looking at the line. Okay, in this one, I'm looking at some things that are functions, things that are not. So each input, which is X, can only have one output, which is Y. So if I look at this, look at my inputs. I have 1. How many outputs does it have? It has 1 output, which is 2. Input is 4, it has 1 output. It's also 2, but still, each input only has 1 output. So that's a function. Same thing here, 1, 2, 4, 2. Each input, 1 output. But if you have an input that has 2 different outputs, it's not a function. Like in this case, 2, 3, and 2, 4. So my input is 2, but I have different outputs, 3 and 4. So for instance here I have an input of 2, my outputs are 3 and 4. So these are not functions. Hopefully this makes sense if you take the not functions and you put those ordered pairs on a coordinate plane. Here's my points, 2, 3, and 2, 4. I'm going to intersect both of those points with a vertical line. So you can't have two different outputs, or it's not a function.